This is Jolly Jan with What's Your Viewpoint?
From coast to coast and around the world, this is Kaleidoscope, America's most exciting radio magazine. Stay tuned for more.
Hello and welcome. This is Jolly Jan with What's Your Viewpoint? And with me here in the studio today is Rabbi Cantor Jason Van Leeuwen, or Reb Jason. Hello.
It's great to be here.
Thank you. Once again, this is Jolly Jan with What's Your Viewpoint. Stay tuned.
According to scientists who study this stuff, people blink their eyes 20,000 times a day. So if you're not careful, you could easily miss how fast Geico Auto Insurance starts working on your claim. Often we can handle details in hours instead of days. And in just 15 minutes, or roughly 210 bats of an eye, Geico could save you 15%. So call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. You may blink twice when you see the savings. That's 1-800-947-AUTO. Geico Direct, the sensible alternative.
What do you think about alternatives? Are there alternatives in religion, I wonder? We always think about how a rabbi can bring us closer to God. Reb Jason, do you come from a family of rabbis?
That's a funny question. I get that question quite often. As far as I know, I am the first rabbi in my family's history. Not only do I not come from a family of rabbis, I do not come entirely from a family of Jews. Like many American Jews, I come from a mixed heritage. My father was a refugee from Holland. He came here as a young boy in 1939. But my mother is the daughter of American Revolution. I apparently am a descendant of President William Henry Harrison on my mother's side. She met my father and converted to Judaism, and they built a Jewish life together. So half of my relatives are not Jewish.
Very, very interesting. And how does vegetarianism fit into your religious vision, Reb Jason?
Well, I believe that a Jew's responsibility is to uphold their end of what is called the covenant or the brit. God has made a covenant with all the creatures of the earth, but has made a special covenant with the Jewish people. We have a sacred mission. We are chosen. That shouldn't make us feel better about ourselves, but rather should give us a sense of solemn responsibility of a covenantal relationship with all of God's creation. And that means observing some very important mitzvot, or commandments. One of those commandments is not causing needless suffering to animals. And in this day and age, it really isn't necessary to eat meat. The book of Genesis has God telling Adam and Eve that they can eat all kinds of things on the planet, but God conspicuously exempts animals. Animals are not mentioned among the things Adam and Eve are allowed to eat. And Rashi, the great medieval commentator, says that God intended Adam and Eve to be forbidden from eating animals. However, God will not command things that are found to be impossible to follow. And in the desert, when it was very difficult to find forms of food, God did permit the Israelites to eat wheat. During the First Temple period, they had to bring their meats to the central shrine and offer it as a sacrifice before being allowed to eat it. So eating meat was only to be part of a religious ceremony. Nowadays, when we really don't have a relationship with the animal that's killed so that we can eat it, nowadays when we can drive by farms going up the 5 freeway and see and smell the stench of tens of thousands of cows, stacked tightly in inhumane conditions. I cannot imagine how a Jew who has a Jewish soul and a sensitive Jewish spirit can possibly bring himself to eat an animal.
I understand. Stay tuned.